make a motion to go into executive session
Second.
for appointment of a particular person for interviews.
Second.
Brad, thank you. Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Revelard?
Yes.
Motion to return to regular meeting.
Second.
Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle? Yes. Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Revelard?
Yes.
And please rise and salute the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Emergency exits are behind the town clerk and also the door you came in. Roll, please.
Supervisor Prodi?
Here.
Councilpersons Doyle? Here. Gutierrez?
Here.
Blackman? Revelard?
Here. Yes.
Okay, and we now have a Hudson River Housing Zoning Petition presentation.
Good evening. I'm Mary Lang from Hudson River Housing. I apologize, I have laryngitis. But just to remind the town board, we were here several months ago, presented our proposed project right here on Route 22 on a lot that's approximately 15 acres, where we propose constructing 14 units for home ownership in 7 duplex buildings and 1 building with 7 rental units. And so it's going to require a zoning change, so I'll turn it over to Ian McDonald.
Thank you. Ian MacDonald, Mackey Butts and Whalen. So the property, as you probably know, is across the street, just north and west of where we are now. It's currently located in the suburban residential zoning district that allows us to construct single-family homes. They're allowed as of right. Multifamily, however, is not. I should say in the SR district you can construct single-family and two-family. So that will allow us to construct the 7 duplex units. But Hudson River Housing is also proposing a 7-unit apartment complex. Multifamily is not allowed in the SR zoning district. It is allowed in the Hamlet residential zoning district, which is right next door. The properties that border this property owned by Hudson River Housing are located to the east, are located in the HR zoning district currently. So what we're asking the board to do is to enact a local law that would extend the HR zoning district to include this parcel. And that would only really impact this one parcel. It's not, an extensive change because as I said, the properties that border to the east of this property currently already exist in the HR zoning district. That would allow us to build the apartment complex, the multifamily structure. This is proposed as affordable housing or workforce housing under the Town of Amenia zoning code. It would all be workforce housing. And as you know, that's something that's desperately needed. It's consistent with your comprehensive plan, something that should be good for the community, not just Amenia, but all of Dutchess County. Do you have anything to add? Okay. So again, we're hoping that the board will enact this local law. We submitted a petition. I put proposed language in there. Your town attorney's not here, but certainly I'd be willing to work with the town attorney in drafting the language of the local law.
Victoria, how does that work from here? I mean, the zoning board would actually be involved in this as well, yes? Or the zoning board of appeals or not, or just?
No.
No?
Okay. No, it's just a board decision.
So this is an action that is solely taken by the town board. The only involvement of the planning board, I believe you have to make a referral to the planning board because it's a proposed zoning change. You also have to make a referral to Dutchess County Planning and Development.
But that would be part of the introduction to the local law process, to actually change the zoning.
Correct.
So, and it would have to be sent to Dutchess County Planning and go through. But the town board is the one who has to initiate the local law to change the zoning.
Correct.
So we would have to do a resolution introducing the local law
Okay.
and setting a public hearing to make the change.
Okay.
Correct.
And we would have to decide if we wanted to start that process now or wait until January to do that.
Well, you have another meeting in December.
Right,
December 21st, I think is your next, no?
Next
14.
week.
the 14th.
Oh, okay, so it's a little sooner than I thought.
Well, for December, we have to do it that way in order to,
Sure. Ideally, we'd like to see this done as soon as possible, but we understand that obviously the board has other things that have to be done. But if you were to start on this at your meeting on the 14th, it would be typically a resolution to introduce the local law.
and to set the public hearing.
And then to schedule a public hearing that would have to be in January.
Yes,
And then you would make your referral under 239M of General Municipal Law to the county
yes,
planning department, and then also make the referral to your own planning board. And then you have to go through the secret process, but that can be done, I don't want to advise the board, but typically you would do that prior to enacting the local law. So it would,
that's correct.
resolution to...
So basically, the town board needs to decide whether to move forward with introducing, the resolution to introduce the local law and set the public hearing.
Correct.
Great. Well, we have that discussion on our agenda for later this meeting.
We do indeed.
Does
Okay.
anyone have any other questions for them?
We've seen the presentation, which I assume hasn't changed dramatically. Okay, so we're just trying to enable it.
I did have a question. I mean, we are obviously at this point where you are owners of the parcel and now seeking this change. Were there representations made to you at any point that this would be something that the town would do if you were to pursue this?
No, I think when we acquired the parcel, we weren't sure that we wanted the rental units,
Got it.
but after realizing there was the need for both homeownership and rental, we decided to put that component in, so that necessitated the change.
And have you coordinated with the housing board here, and they're supportive of this change? I mean, I know I have the memo from...
Our understanding is the housing board is very supportive of it. I believe that they
Yeah,
adopted a resolution approving this.
they
Okay.
supported.
Yeah.
Do you want to speak to that at all?
Okay.
Hi, I'm Charlie Miller. I'm the chair of the Amenia Housing Board. Actually, at the last Amenia Housing Board meeting, we did discuss the petition that HRH is presenting to you today. It's interesting in that our town mixed multifamily homes are actually allowed in every use district except for suburban residential, and their parcel has a flag portion that is in Hamlet residential, which is what they are petitioning to change the zoning of their parcel so that it would allow multifamily homes. The allowing of a multifamily home is the best way to address housing affordability. It's the way in which you create apartments for the most part. And there are a lot of multifamily homes throughout Amenia. It is typically what people rent, and the Housing Board is in full support of this zoning change. And I'll quickly just read, because I'm not sure, I apologize if I came in a little late, regarding the need in Amenia, which is also detailed in our, one second, I'm sorry. In the comp plan revision that we did last year that the town board was very active in and we were very appreciative of, which detailed the housing affordability problems in the town. And I want to bring up my stats, but for some reason I'm missing them. Hold on, where's it? Here we go. Shit. I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to do it off the top of my head. But if I recall correctly, for renters, just shy of 50% of renters in Amenia are Carlsberden. That means that they pay more than 30% of their income to their housing costs. And on the those who own their homes, I think it's around the 35%. So although this parcel in its current zoning, allows two-family homes, which would be sold, clearly the need in Amenia is for rental, a stronger need in Amenia is for rental properties. And the way you get that is through multifamily homes. So we sent the resolution that the Housing Board passed to you guys, and that was overwhelming in support of it. Great. So, do you have any questions about what the Housing Board may contemplate here? The board has been working for years and years to try to get workforce housing in Amenia, and that has been through a number of chairmen and a lot of different people on the board, and we are just, very grateful that there is this possibility of a development that would be, that would bring much needed housing to our town.
Thank you.
Does anyone on the board have any other questions about the presentation?
I do not.
I don't.
I'll just say I'm very supportive of moving forward with a public hearing and moving the process forward for including it in the Hamlet residential zoning that they've requested.
Okay, public comment? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I am Salvatore La Rosa at 15 Spruce Hill. Good evening. This is in reference to the Hudson River Housing Inc. petition in agenda today. The petitioner is requesting the town of Amenia to amend their town zoning law and reclassify the parcel ID number 113637 from suburban residential, SR, to Hamlet residential, HR, allowing the addition of multifamily dwellings on 16 acres of currently undeveloped and biodiverse land at the top of a scenic hill western of Route 22. My name is Salvatore La Rosa, and together with my wife Cristina, we own the property at 15 Spruce Hill. We bought this property in April 2022, attracted by its quiet environment and surrounding great natural beauty. An ideal location, we thought, to spend peacefully our lives after retirement. And indeed, we have been enjoying this setting and the sight just outside of our windows of deer, wild turkey, fox, and even a coyote. Our parcel is immediately adjacent to the petitioner's property. We are therefore highly disappointed and concerned about the intensive development proposed by the petitioner just at our property boundary, which is disruptive of our objective, living in a quiet and beautiful setting, and brings other negative issues, some of which are related to safety and security. The petitioner states, second page, paragraph 6, their intent to incorporate a trail system on their property to allow the public to enjoy the vista views of the town of Amenia. Some consideration regarding this proposal. Number one, the designated public area is on a steep slope leading toward a cliff on an abandoned quarry, now a deep lake. It is very dangerous and unsuitable for public trail. I heard that there have been fatalities in the past. Number 2, the common driveway from Route 22 to the dwellings will run right at the border of our property and another property at Spruce Hill with no room for setback. You can see that in Exhibit B of the petition. The public trial system will encourage more vehicle traffic on the common driveway with the potential of more danger to our children and pets. Number 3, the public access, presumably uncontrolled, will also expose our families to movement at our neighbors' properties, of a potentially large number of quote-unquote unknown people, which raises safety concerns to us. The petition states, second page, paragraph 10, that the adjacent parcel to the east of the property are all located in the HR zoning district, as just said. The petitioner, however, omits to characterize the zoning of the adjacent parcel at the other 3 cardinal points, north, west, and south. In fact, no adjacent parcel, north, west, or south, is in the HR zoning district. In particular, no parcels is at the top of the hill, like the petitioner's property. No parcels at the top of the hill are classified as such. As you look at the zoning maps, it is clear that the town regulators have purposely and wisely avoided classifying as HR any parcel above, meaning western of, a continuous demarcation line south-north to prevent future development at the hilltop from disrupting the view of the scenic hill western of Route 22 at the Hamlet Gateway. The HR zoning district is entirely below such a demarcation line, at say 2/3 or 3/4 of the hill height. You look at the hill, the ridge, and at 2/3 of it, there is a demarcation line south of which there is HR zone, and nothing above that is HR, it's all SR. So if you change the law and make this HR plot, it would be an anomaly. The HR zoning district is entirely below such demarcation, like say 2/3 or 3/4 of the hill height. A reclassification of the petitioner's property as requested by the petitioner represent a strong anomaly of the current zoning philosophy and an invitation to negate the preservation of the hill scenic view. In fact, in his memo dated September 20, 2023, addressed to the Amenia Planning Board, the Amenia Building Inspector and Code Enforcement Officer stated that such reclassification would be considered spot zoning, likely illegal. Moreover, assuming that the petition property is reclassified as an HR district, it would create a precedent and open the door for petitions by the owners of other properties western of the current HR zoning demarcation line and invite for even more intense dwelling developments at the top of the hill with further loss of the scenic view. Additionally, a number of properties which are already in the HR zone below the demarcation line that I explained above only have a small family houses built on it today. For instance, at Spruce Hill, where we live, we have 4 houses of 1,600 square feet each on an aggregate 8 acres land, which is 1/2 of the petitioner land. By accepting the petition and approving the petitioner's project, the other owners in the HR district, like us, could be motivated to build more dwellings, including multifamily dwellings on their properties, and therefore increase the building density, which may or may not be a direction favorable to the town objectives. Another consideration is the impact the project will have on the postal service. Currently, Spruce Hill houses, our houses, do not have at-home delivery by the USPS. Rather, we all have PO boxes at the Amenia Post Office due to the fact that the post office cannot deliver to addresses on private roads. The Amenia post office is small and the only parking space available for mail pickup is on the curbside in front of the post office. Quite often, no parking space is available and we have to forfeit our mail pickup for the day. I presume the dwellings of the petitioner's parcel will also have to rely on post office boxes for their mail delivery. That means, presumably, at least 42 more PO boxes, more traffic, and less parking space at the post office, all of which will negatively affect all the Amenia USPS customers. There are other concerns we have about the petitioner's project that may not be directly related to the objective of the petition, but that, nevertheless, I would like to bring to your attention at this time. Given the lack of a centralized sewage treatment system, the petitioners will rely on a leach field system for the on-site treatment of liquid waste. Indeed, I understand the sizing of the project, the number of bedrooms in particular, has been determined by the space available for a leach field system. The project includes 42 bedrooms. As per applicable codes, a leach field is sized for a daily treatment of 110 gallons per bedroom. The leach field on the petitioner's property should then be capable of dispersing up to 4620 gallons daily. This is an enormous amount. Our property at Spruce Hill are located downhill from such leach field, and we are extremely concerned about potential contamination. In our area, the ground is rocky with a thin depth of dirt, which presumably means a very low soil permeability. If you refer to Exhibit B, you will see that in order to show that the leach field will not interfere with our wells, the petitioner has drawn 200 feet radius circles centered on our water wells to show that the leach field, main and backups, there are two, main and backup, are at a safe distance from our wells. However, the position of our well, number 15, indicated on the plan is grossly incorrect. Our water well is actually located closer to our western property line, which is cause for an even greater concern to us. The petitioner project relies on the use of water wells, which will be sized to draw up 4620 gallons daily or more, to match the sewage. I believe I heard anecdotically that there are concerns about the toll on water table in Amenia. This could be another negative for an intensive development of the petitioner's property. Another serious concern is the access of the petitioner's site from Route 22 and the common driveway. The access to Route 22 is on a blind curve with a limited line of sight. The Route 22 speed limit in that location is 35 miles per hour. Vehicles, including 18-wheelers, usually drive above the speed limit, or well above the speed limits, I would say, on this road. In any case, 35 miles per hour, a vehicle can cover a distance 51 feet in 1 second. This is another point of safety to consider. The petitioner has enclosed a copy of short environmental assessment for Exhibit D of the petition. Again, not the object of this review. However, I noticed that at page 2 of the form, on item 8, the petitioner has omitted to check the no answer box to the following question. A, are public transportation services available at or near the site of the proposed action? And point number C, are any pedestrian accommodation or bicycle routes available or on or near the site of the proposed action? Which leads to my last comment. There are no sidewalks on Route 22 at the property access. Residents will need to use vehicles to access their homes. 21 households at the property, their vehicles, visitors, and service vehicles will cause intense traffic on the common driveway adjacent to the Spruce Hill properties. We are concerned about the associated noise, dust, and the potential danger to our children and pets due to this serious increase in vehicular traffic. Because of all these considerations, which I have just outlined for you, I respectfully request that the town board reject this petition. Finally, I would like to suggest that this town board investigates if there have been any conflict of interest or other irregularities involved in the acquisition of the property. The parcel was purchased in December 2022 by LLC, Amenia Ventures 1, for $150,000, as reported in the deed. Amenia Ventures 1 had been formed 1 month earlier, in November 2022. So this LLC appears to have been set up as a special vehicle for the acquisition of the property. 2 months later, in February 2022, Amenia Ventures 1 sold the property to the petitioner for $190,000, as reported in the parcel property card. I was told that Amenia Ventures 1 intermediation was instrumental in securing the property for the petitioner's benefit, as the petitioners did not have the funds aligned to purchase the property in December, allegedly a seller's hard deadline imposed by the seller. I find, however, quite odd that the petitioners did not have $150,000 in December, but was able to commit $190,000 just 2 months later in February. In conclusion, all of us, the owners at Spruce Hill, are deeply, deeply concerned about this project. As an alternative, we are offering to buy back the parcel from the petitioner, then commit this land in perpetuity to the town or the county for conservation, to defend its biodiversity and to make sure that its beautiful natural view at the gateway of our hamlet be preserved for years to come and for future generations. Thank you for your attention. If you need a copy of my remarks.
Yes, can you please give that to the town clerk? Thank you very much.
Very nice.
Public comment for anything at this point?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm Marco D'Antonio with SCBI Environmental Services. Take care of your water supply. I wanted to just answer or follow up on a couple of things that I followed up already several times. Last board meeting, again, Water Committee here, misrepresenting information again. I've asked the town board about this several times. So, Town of Amenia received a grant, a non-matching grant that we applied for the Town of Amenia's water supply for the lead service line inventory, which is mandatory and due October 14th, 2024. No exceptions. I've presented to the town board, I've presented to the public the requirements of this. Again, the grant was a non-matching grant, free money to do this. Not free money for SEBI, as some of the town board members had made accusations on. That is money, if you looked at the engineering report, and if the water committee and the town board looked at the engineering report that they signed off on to submit this. And Section 7 was a complete breakdown of where the money is allocated to and how it's allocated. There was another proposal that we sent in because we thought we weren't going to get the grant money, called predictive modeling. That was a $200,000 proposal. That proposal would not have been allowed through New York State. The feds gave us, during the presentation, that option. New York State has not adopted it. So that option was not on the table. I said that before, I'm stating it again. So Town of Amenia had an opportunity for grant money to do this program due in 1 year when they had 4 years to do this. And I've presented this time and time again. So today, December 7th, to the town of Supervisor and the Town of Amenia Board, SEBI is terminating their contract, starting effective 30 days, January 6th. SEBI will be terminating this contract with the Town of Amenia due to breach of contract. Our contract specifically states, 1, the town is responsible for all cost increases resulting from the regulatory agency requirements. 2, contractor, SEBI, will have the rights to control and determine the methods and means of performing those contractual services. That was not allowed. 3, the town shall not require a contractor or contractor's employees or subcontractors to be devoted full-time performing services for this agreement. The town has failed to fully fund an expense that has risen due to new regulations. SEBI also presented to the town board the methods of performing this task regarding the lead service line inventory, which was not fully approved and not fully funded by this town board. The committee delay has made this compliance with the new regulations unachievable without devoting full-time personnel. All of these actions and inactions by the town are in breach of this contract. In addition, on numerous occasions, SCBI has requested that misinformation about SCBI, funding, regulations concerning public health and safety by certain board members and water committee be stopped at a public forum. This unprofessional, careless, and hostile environment continues by the board members and the water committee, which has never been addressed by any elected official. SCBI believes there has been intentional malice by this board and the water committee to prevent SCBI from performing their duties in regard to public water supply and within our contract. Therefore, SCBI finds that there has been a direct violation of the signed contract between SCBI and the town board. The board continued to refuse to adequately fund new regulatory requirements in a timely manner to allow SCBI to control and determine methods and means. As a result, SCBI will officially be terminating their contract to service the public water supply of the town of Amenia, known as Amenia Water District Number 1, as of January 6, 2024. This is a 30-day notice in compliance with our contract, no cause termination, period. We actually have 7 days. We're doing it in 30 to give you ample opportunity to hire somebody. 16 years of service. Thank you.
Is there any other public comment?
Thank you, Mark.
Hi, I'm George Bestranson. I live at 3498 Route 343 in Amenia. I'd like to know why and how the Hudson River housing parcel was chosen. On the face of it, the parcel is not a good candidate. It's agricultural land, which we want to preserve in Amenia. It's at the top of a steep hill that will require residents to have a car and to get to the hamlet. The Amenia building inspector and code enforcer is opposed to the zoning change because it would be considered spot zoning and said that the change probably would not receive state-level approval. Most importantly, this zoning change will destroy the rural lifestyle of several of our neighbors who bought houses on Spruce Hill believing that they were moving into a low-density rural area. This is not the way I want to treat my neighbors. There's another matter that must be addressed. Considering the information that is on record and from conversation with Spruce Hill residents, I have to ask the following questions. Did anyone on the housing board profit from the resale of this parcel? Was insider information used to make a personal profit? It is public record that Amenia Ventures 1 LLC bought the property for $150,000 in December 2021 and resold to Hudson River Housing for $190,000 in February 2022, just 2 months later. I asked the town board to postpone considering changing the zoning on this property and investigate these transactions, obtain a full accounting of the $40,000 profit, and identify the LLC financial backers. If it turns out that an Amenia Housing Board member used his position to profit personally, then that member should be dismissed from the Housing Board. In addition, all members who condoned this corruption or knew about it and said nothing should also be dismissed from the Housing Board. And if Hudson River Housing was a willing participant in this graft, the town of Amenia should do nothing to promote the business of this organization in our community. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Chris Regan, and I live at 5293 Route 44 in Amenia with my wife Leslie, who's sitting over here to my right. And we're neighbors with Sal Sakari and Caroline Green, who are sitting at the end of that second row here. We've lived in Amenia for 37 years, since 1986, and we just love it here. It's a wonderful place. And I think our overall take on the Hudson River Housing Plan is that even though we totally agree that we need more workforce housing in the Harlem Valley, you actually couldn't pick a worse place to locate it than the subject property. It's important to understand that there are serious environmental and safety risks that are associated with that location. First of all, and most powerfully, the safety risks are extremely significant. I'm not sure how many people in this room have spent time on the subject property line between the proposed lot and our lot, which is immediately to the west of there. But I've probably been there 100 or 200 times. I've probably spent more time there than anywhere else in the town in the last nearly 40 years. It's an unbelievably dangerous place. It's a 126-foot almost straight down drop to the lake from the area they're talking about building I think it would be a public trail if I read the plan properly. The year we moved in, one of our local residents, Brian Jolly, fell down that hill, hit his head, and drowned in our lake. It took them, state police, 3 weeks to find his body. And the state police, when they came to get it, told us they were thrilled that we were going to build a house there because kids have been going in there, swimming, causing trouble for a long time, and there have been a lot of injuries in that location, and now a fatality. So it's extremely important. We never let our kids, we have 4 children, we never let them walk up there unescorted. It's a very dangerous area, particularly in the winter when there's ice on the ground and snow on the ground. So I think the safety of the location it's just an unbelievably risky place. The second is the environmental risk here, which I think, as I think George said and Sandra said very well, we're all here because we love the environment in this town, which is unique. But it's important to understand that what went on our property, and we own both sides of the mine and the lands that surround it, 60 acres, was a strip mine for 165 years. And I mean a really aggressive strip mine. And that land has been healing now for about 110 years. It's not done healing. It needs to continue to heal. And there are risks to the environment on both sides of the ridge where they're talking about building these houses and where they're talking about building the trail. So I would just encourage the board to look carefully at the plan. We have a lot of land in this town and in the towns stretching up and down the Harlem Valley. And as I said, I don't think you could actually pick a worse site. I would encourage, for those of you who haven't been up there, you should go stand on that location and look at it. Look down west in the direction of the lake and look back towards town, and you'll see what I mean in terms of steep slopes and danger and potential degradation to the environment. I think Zal wanted to make remarks as well.
Hi, I'm Zal Sakari. As Chris said, I'm his neighbor, and I've been living in Amenia since 2017. I spent probably about the last 2 years on Fridays delivering food, as Leo knows, to the poor who live in Amenia and Millerton and other places. So I have a good understanding of how much we need affordable housing in this area, because I deliver food to people living in trailers, people living in Tally-Ho and other places. The question I have for HRH is, in your presentation, you were claiming that median income in this area is $120,000. Because that's the limit that you put in terms of 90% for the ownership and 70% for the rental units. Yes, you can actually, I did look at the presentation. If you have it, you should take a look at it. That's what you're stating in there. It doesn't take much. Look at the US Census report from 2022. Median income in Amenia is $75,221. You want to serve the poor, serve people below that level. The median rental, you were talking, the person from the housing committee was talking about rentals. Let's talk about rentals. The median rental in this community.
Point of order. Is he supposed to be addressing me or the town board?
I thought there were questions. Can we ask questions?
No.
He's addressing you, correct?
Okay.
Yes, this is public comment, and he's addressing us.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're not allowed to address anybody in the audience during public comment.
So I would ask the board then to look at the presentation that was made to you that claim that the median income in this area is $120,000. And then look up the census report from 22, and you will notice that the median income in Amenia is $75,221. If you want to serve people who are poor in this area, serve people below that level. Don't serve $120,000 earning families. Median income, median rental in Amenia is $1,271. If you want affordable housing, get it below that range. Don't charge them more in terms of rental costs.
Address us.
Sorry, don't charge them more in terms of rental costs, and don't charge them more in terms of the ownership costs of those properties, because all you're going to do is not make it more affordable, you're going to make it more expensive for those people who are living below that range, which is 50% of the people in the town of Amenia. So let's not call this affordable housing if it's not. Call it luxury housing, and let's not change and impact the environment in order to support people living way above the median in this town. Thank you.
Is there any other public comment?
Hi, thanks very much for giving us the opportunity to comment. My name is Tim Sullivan. I live at 9 Spruce Hill. I'm a neighbor of Sandra's. I just wanted to likewise take the opportunity to express to the board my and my family's opposition to this petition to rezone the property, which is immediately adjacent to ours. We, like Chris, like Sal, like the others that spoke this evening, put down roots here in Amenia for a number of reasons, but top of the list is that we appreciate the rural character. We like the fact that it's so dark at night. We like how quiet it is. We like the proximity to nature. We like being able to look out our back door and see turkey and deer and the occasional bear and a coyote and maybe even a bog turtle here and there, hares, you name it. The proposed development that this rezoning would enable would compromise all those things. And we have a lot of concerns about it. My family and I are concerned about noise pollution. We're concerned about light pollution. We heard earlier this evening the development at the top of the hill described as an apartment complex. My understanding of Amenia's comprehensive plan, the unamended original 2022 version, was that the tops of our hills in this community were meant to be left undeveloped. And this is in no way consistent with that vision, and I'm disappointed by that. I'm worried about the disruption of a sensitive, biodiverse, ecological ecosystem at the top of that hill. Like I said, there's plenty of wildlife. And by the way, I would genuinely invite all the members of the town board at some point to come and visit. I would be happy to host you there along with my neighbors on Spruce Hill, give you a tour of the property, check it out. It would be an incredible increase in the density of the population in this small hamlet to put in an apartment complex at the top of one of our hills. And I'm very, very disappointed about the prospect of that happening. And so what would my asks of the town board be? It would be a couple things. I'd like you to do, if given the opportunity, just really deeply do your diligence here. I know that the building inspector has cited his opposition to this on a number of fronts. I know that the consultant engineers that have been engaged likewise raised a number of issues. It's not worth my time or yours to go through all those in detail now. You have them well documented. However, I would hope that the fire department has an opportunity to have a say here. Hope that the police department has an opportunity to have a say. I can only imagine that the burden on them is going to increase substantially when they're asked to access a property that has a very, very narrow access road running through the backyards of my neighbors with a very steep pitch. As Chris said, nothing about this property makes sense for the level of development that's being proposed there. And then finally, seconding George's comments from earlier, I'd be remiss if I didn't note the fact that if you were to go back and read all of the meeting minutes from the Amenia Town Board, or I'm sorry, from the Amenia Housing Board over the last 3 years, starting in August 2020, that relate to this proposed development, the topic of conflict of interest was raised multiple times. Not by the public, but by other members of the housing board about the prospective development and about the particular member of the housing board whose project this was considered and who was advocating it most strenuously and who is also a commercial developer. And I think we all recognize that in businesses and governments around the world, avoiding even the conflict or even avoiding even the appearance of conflict of interest is best practice. And I don't feel as though steps have been taken, or if they have, they certainly haven't been made public, even in meeting minutes, that appearance of conflict has been resolved or that it was unwarranted in the first place. So thanks very much for the time. And like I said, hope to find a time to have you all up to Spruce Hill at some point to see the property. Thanks very much.
Hi, my name's Caroline Green. I live on Orbed Road. I'm an Amenia homeowner. Actually, I should step back.
Could you get closer to the microphone?
Sorry.
Or move it towards you.
For the shorter people. My name is Caroline Green. I'm an Amenia homeowner. I live at 106 Orbed Road. Actually, I should take that back. I really want to emphasize that Amenia is my home. And the word home has a very special meaning to me because I've spent 10 years working in shelters and supportive housing facilities providing medical care. I was also lucky enough to live for 7 years in a middle-income housing project built to promote home ownership in New York City. I'm going to ask the town board to please listen to me and listen to me very carefully based on my experiences. Building anything requires price points and budgets. It requires, anyone who's built anything has had to make a compromise, right? When we're building affordable or workforce housing, that experience is much more acute, and that was my experience in middle-income housing. Compromises, though, have really big, broad implications for people living in those homes and people running the rentals. We can't dash a homeowner's dream with foreclosure or ruin them financially because of expensive repairs caused by compromises, causing high maintenance costs. Long-term planning changes when you're dealing with an affordable housing budget. Your product changes, and this is what my experience was in this development. HRH needs to have the funds to continue to maintain their building. As HRH knows, it's easier to obtain grants and funds to build something or to build a unit, and it's much harder to obtain funds to maintain it. There's a big difference in that. If we rezone, it's my understanding of looking at the project budget. There's no monies in there. It's all projected, we're going to get funds. There's nothing in there. And so I think the town board really needs more information as to where this money is going to come from in order to maintain this over time. That includes the road. I'm afraid of, and this is just my personal fear, but I think the board needs to consider this as well. If you don't have a budget and you go to zoning and you rezone, what happens if they can't do the project as projected? Are we throwing in then some market level housing? What's going to happen? I mean, that's a totally different project, right? We're trying to do something for affordable housing. We're not trying to add market level rentals or market level houses. We're actually trying to help people, and it's not going to help adding market level stuff. Please consider that there could be a bait and switch here. Maybe it's not intentional. Maybe it's just the way the money goes. But consider that before rezoning. Again, HRH has a wide variety of projects. Some of their biggest ones are homeless shelters and supportive housing. if you rezone, maybe the funding would be there for HRH to put in supportive housing for people who are mentally ill or chemically addicted, which in this community, we don't have the services to help people. The church pantry had 4 families affiliated with that, separate families, die of fentanyl overdoses in the last year. So I really just want to emphasize, we can't have a bait and switch in this community. I'm also very familiar with social service agencies, having worked in the shelter system. A lot of them operate as maybe it does outside of social service agencies, but I'm talking about my experience again, with handshake deals and a lot of favoritism. And this project is important. We need to do it openly and transparently. What's not been explained is the whole process by which someone obtains that house or obtains that rental. In the building that I lived in, there were multiple people who were affiliated with the builder who received housing, and it was supposed to be a housing lottery. It was kind of unusual. I don't want to see that happen in Amenia, and I don't think the town board should be associated with anything with that risk there. So I'm going to ask, and I'm going to ask the town board to make sure that this project stays open and transparent. I want Amenia, the residents of Amenia, actually, sorry, I don't mean to turn my head that way, but you are the residents. I want to demand that every member of the town board, the housing board, the zoning board, and their families, and all their related parties, as well as the volunteers in this whole process, be disallowed from participating in any housing lottery or application process for this. And I actually want it pledged on paper. And I want every LLC associated with this project to be transparent, to have a name attached to it. Let's be fair, let the sunshine come in, and let the project happen the right way. But we cannot zone until we rezone, until we get this information. This is not to be built for our friends or hiding in any other way. I'm sorry. And I think some other people here have also mentioned HRH did not have the funds to purchase this land initially. It was purchased by an LLC and held until HRH could obtain the funds. It was held until HRH could obtain the funds. Are we about to give an organization free rein, not having given us a full budget, not having given us the financials? They could not afford the $150,000 that the unit sold, that housing thing sold for, but could pay $190,000 3 months later. The financials of this project need to be looked at very, very carefully before you consider giving them this option. I would like to say $40,000 is a lot of money. HRH puts that down on their financial sheets to whoever their grantors are. They don't know that the property was available for $190,000. They're not accountable for that $40,000. You understand that, right? Only we know that it went for $150,000 and then again at $190,000. Only we know. It's not going to be on any of their paperwork. They're just going to go to whatever organization that they use the money from and say it cost us $190,000. But you know, $40,000 is a lot of money, and it makes a difference in people's lives. $40,000 in the mission of HRH could have housed probably at the median rate 5 different families over a year. It could have been used towards this project already. So there's something a little murky here, and I think the town board just needs to ask these questions and get more information before they move forward with rezoning. Because once you rezone, you're going to lose control of this. Thank you very much.
Hi, good evening. My name is Natalie Grillen. I'm the homeowner at 21 Spruce Hill, neighbor to Sandro and Tim, who already spoke. And I directly border the small strip of land up to the proposed workforce housing development. It is about 50 feet from my house, and there is no give there. I'm forgetting the correct term, but the road will directly abut my property. My neighbors have already raised many concerns with the development, including impacts on the environment, the ecosystem, road and fire safety. I won't reiterate. I appreciate a lot of us have been speaking, and you may have business ahead of you, but I do echo and share those concerns. I do want to share two of my greatest concerns, though, just to emphasize. The first is safety. First, to my immediate family, as I said, the proposed road will pass approximately 50 to 60 feet from my house. I have a young 4-year-old daughter and 2 dogs. HRA has shared that other roads could be built to the site via the ridge, but I sincerely doubt the viability of these roads given the nature of the land. I also acknowledge a fence could be built on my property, but at the volume of cars passing, given the proposed density, my concerns do seem valid. Second, as mentioned earlier by another neighbor, the ore pond directly bordering the site with a straight drop-off into the quarry raises enormous safety concerns. I have learned from the neighbors of deaths there. I've heard rumors of it from other people in town, and having seen it myself, I have serious concerns about putting a housing development with families directly next to a hazard such as this. I imagine a reaction to this would be, well, we can build a fence, which I get that, but look, I was once a teenager. Teenagers climb fences, they try to jump into things, right? I grew up in the Berkshires not far away. We have places just like this, and I know of people who've been injured, and to hear of the death there raises serious concern. Children find a way. The first time I came upon the pond on a hike, I have to admit that my heart stopped, thinking about the danger that my own child faced, and we're more than half a mile away from this. So I very, very strongly encourage the town board and members of the housing board to visit the site. I am not sure that people have been there. Please come and look, because it really is dramatic and astonishing. The second concern I have is around ethics. When I heard that that a proposed workforce housing development and a density of this nature was going to be put in this location, I had to ask myself, how was this site chosen? Why this site? It doesn't make sense for what wants to be built. It's not fit for purpose. So I went back and I read as many of the housing board meeting minutes as I could. And as another neighbor already raised, there were conflicts of interest expressed in those meeting minutes around a particular individual who wanted to develop the site, who wanted to purchase the site. It was purchased by an LLC, so we are not sure who ultimately ended up buying it and selling it, but we have heard that it was that individual from conversations with HRH. So this obviously raises questions of ethics and conflicts of interest. Was the plot chosen for this reason? And why didn't the housing board disclose this to the town board? I would kindly request that the town board investigate whether this location was chosen merely so that this housing board member would benefit. I'm supportive of workforce housing development. I was a Peace Corps volunteer. I run a nonprofit. I very much understand the need for this, and I recognize the need for affordable and workforce housing in our own community. I'm not opposed to the development in principle, but rather the development in the location proposed raises serious concerns and questions of planning, ethics, environmental, and safety concerns. I'm proud to be a member of this community and my neighborhood, and I'm committed to being the best neighbor I can. And I ask the board to please consider our concerns as neighbors to the site and treat us as neighbors who do have well-founded concerns about this development. Thank you very much for your time.
Is there any other public comment? Okay, town clerk report.
Do you want to do discussion? I'll go quick. I promise I'll go quick. I know they want to be here for the discussions.
Just do what you have to do.
So to the town board, I'm presenting that last month's monthly share Total collected revenue in the town clerk's office was $403.65, with the local share having been remitted to the supervisor in the amount of $363.65. Also this evening, I am sharing with the board that I'm in receipt of Annette Culligan's resignation. It shall be effective December 31st. She's been with the town for 10 years.
I'll make a motion that we accept with regret the resignation of the secretary to the supervisor, effective 12/31/23.
I'll second that.
There's discussion. Annette Culligan has been an exemplary secretary to the supervisor for the last 10 years. She's handled HR, retirement, ordered, and just dealt so professionally with every department in this building. She's a wonderful, competent person, and it's been a pleasure for me to have her as my secretary.
I don't think anyone couldn't echo that and, commend you for having Annette to be by your side all these years. Supervisor Prody?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Revelard?
Yes.
Also, we have some housekeeping of minutes. So we have minutes for October 5th.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of October 5th, 2023.
I'll second that.
Leo. Supervisor Prody?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Revelard?
Yes.
October 12th.
I move that we accept the minutes of October 12th, 2023.
I'll second again.
Supervisor Prody?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Revelard?
Yes.
October 16th.
I move that we accept the minutes of October 17th, 2023. 16th, 2023.
Okay. Special
I'll
budget.
second.
Hi, Brad. Supervisor Prody?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Abstain.
Blackman?
Yes.
Revelard?
Yes.
October 19th.
I move that we accept the minutes of October 19th, 2023.
Second.
Supervisor Prody?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Yes. Ooh. It worked.
I know.
We both said it at the
Gutierrez,
same time.
Blackman and Revelard.
Yes.
Sorry. November 2nd.
Motion to approve the minutes of November 2nd, 2023.
Damian.
Second.
Supervisor Prody?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Revelard?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
And November 10th.
Motion to approve the minutes of November 10th, 2023.
A second.
Brad? Heard you first. Supervisor Prody?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Revelard?
Yes.
Just as it's fun and exciting, and I know that we were all thrilled to hear that I had to put out there, and all of us working very hard on that parade last weekend had to cancel due to the inclement weather. The weatherman is not my friend, and it's like rolling the dice. You don't always win a game, and I do hear that we're going to have inclement weather this weekend. So with the impending weather this Sunday, and it's coming hot off the press because I'm getting text messages from the fire department during this meeting. So they're okay with going ahead and moving it to next Friday or Saturday. So it looks like it's going to have to be Friday because the 16th is Wasake. So just kind of do me a favor, as much as nobody wants to talk about social media, not that we're not on it all the time, please be on the lookout for our Holiday of Lights, our parade, the activities coming up. Amenia Fire Company works very hard to get that parade and reaching it out to everyone who is interested. So you never know, now you have more time if you want to put some lights on your cars, your tractors, your trucks, be part of the festivities. So just come visit us. What? Yeah, I think we're going to go with the 15th.
What is the date?
We're looking at the 15th.
December 15th?
Yes, because you have this.
Don, you know, we have 2 fire companies, and
We do. I said the 16th is Wasatch.
What if we combined
It's
the fire
very
company?
dangerous to keep those children on those hay wagons to go from the one hamlet to the next.
we're
We
not
have to think about their
combining
safety.
That was a joke.
I know, everybody keeps asking
Together.
for it, but their safety comes first. That's my job, remember?
Uh-huh.
EMT Dawn, safety first. So, no, but all kidding aside, there's a lot of our friends are here, so let's try to come out, support all of the town activities. Everyone has been working very hard to put these activities for you, so please come. We want to see your faces, not just when you want to say hi at a town board meeting. And then with that being said, because it is my job to advertise and help this wonderful town board, when we're always looking for volunteer positions. So if anyone's interested, you know, board assessment review, ethics committee, or any of our other committees, I do have the volunteer applications available on our website or outside my door. Feel free to drop them off, send me an email, and let me know, and I'll get you before this town board to interview with them.
Speaking of, can we make some appointments?
So how's that sound? Then we can do so.
I make a motion to appoint Josh Simpson to Recreation for the term expiring on December 31st, 2028.
Good.
I'll second.
Leo?
Who- No, I think Victoria was ahead of me.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Revlard?
Yes.
Okay, Josh, welcome back, Josh.
Make a motion to appoint Dave Menegat to the ZBA for the term ending on December 31st, 2028.
I'll second that.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Revlard?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to appoint George Bestranson to the ZBA alternate seat, running through 2024, ending on December 31st, 2024.
second.
Brad? Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Revlard?
Yes.
Save me the phone call. Okay, with that being said, that'll conclude the town clerk's report.
At this time, we're going to table appointing a planning board member until our next meeting. Are there any board or committee reports?
Yeah.
Hi, Charlie Miller, the Chair of the Wastewater Committee. I just want to thank the, excuse me. We had an amazing turnout at our wastewater committee meeting tonight. It was great. I'd like to really encourage everybody who is interested in that particular project, if you're in the district, if you're not, that wastewater committee meets the first Thursday of every month at 6 o'clock, and then you can walk straight into this meeting and enjoy two for the price of one. We meet in the back of the Town Hall auditorium. Some people couldn't find us, but that's always where we are. And it's really helpful to have a lot of participation. So thank you for the people who attended. I hope they come back next week, next month, and others join them. So thank you.
Are there any other board or committee reports?
I have a report. I wanted to bring everybody up to speed that Amenia's Free Theater Arts Program has 12 participants. They're 2nd through 5th graders at Weebatuck Elementary School and Intermediate School, and they are getting ready for their performance on Sunday, December 17th. It's called Into the Light, and it will be done in conjunction with Arm of the Sea Theater and with Vanover Caravan dancers. That program is open and free to the public. It will be an opportunity for the children to showcase their talents. They've been busy working with Vanover Caravan's head instructor, Livia Vanover, and they are going to be a part of the performance that is a professional theater company that will be putting on this holiday spectacular. It is free and open to the public. It'll be held in the Weebatuck High School Auditorium's brand-new facility. We have state-of-the-art sound system. We have beautiful lighting. We have life-size puppets. If you've ever been to Sinterklaas in Rhinebeck, some of those life-size puppets you may have seen paraded through the streets. Those are not the same puppets that will be on Sunday, September 17th. It will be real actors and performers and live music. So it's an opportunity for you to see a performance and cheer on the 2nd through 5th graders who have parts in that program. Thank you to the town board for supporting this program, and thank you to Berkshire Taconic Community Foundation's Northeast Duchess Fund, which provided $3,000 to help pay for this performance. That's the workshops, everything has been free to the students to participate after school. So it's been a great collaboration between Weebatuck, who has been helping us promote and get the students to the program, and between Berkshire Taconic, who helps fund this, and the town of Amenia. Thank you.
Are there any other board or committee reports? If not, we'll move on to discussions. We had a group from the New York Citizens Audit at our last meeting requesting that we do a resolution. I think the board is in agreement that we are choosing not to do a resolution in support of the New York Citizens Audit. Our HRH request for zoning change, I believe we need to study all the information we have on this from not only Hudson River Housing, but also the people who live in the vicinity, because their voice matters. And we won't be making a decision tonight on the zoning change. No. Resolutions?
Resolution 112.
Resolution number 112 of 2023, authorizing the settlement of the tax certain proceeding regarding Clear Michael LLC.
I'm sorry, 112 or 105? I misheard.
12.
112. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Victoria.
That's okay. Whereas there is now pending in the Dutchess County Supreme Court a tax cert proceeding commenced in 2023 by Claire Michael LLC regarding 2 parcels of real property located at 653-6790 Route 22, grid number 706600, 977-875, and Amenia Wassaic Road, grid number 716700, 212034, seeking a reduction in the 2023 tax assessment roll. And whereas the petitioner has agreed to withdraw the petition requesting a reduction for said tax roll, whereas the assessor and special counsel have recommended a discontinuance of this tax review proceeding. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. 1, the recitations set forth above are incorporated in this resolution as if fully set forth and adopted herein. 2, the Town Board of the Town of Amenia hereby approves a stipulation of discontinuance of the tax review proceeding, seeking a reduction in the 2023 tax assessment roll on behalf of the Town of Amenia. 3, the Town Supervisor, Town Assessor, and Shane J. Egan, Esquire, Special Counsel to the Town of Amenia, are hereby authorized to take all action necessary and appropriate to effectuate the terms of this resolution.
Oh,
Go ahead.
I was just going to second it, but you didn't. I didn't let you give you the
No,
time to do it.
you need to do the motion.
I'll make the motion then.
And we need a second?
Second.
Supervisor Brody?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Repelard?
Yes.
And Resolution 113, amending Resolution 109 for the 2023 establishing a capital reserve fund for acquisition of highway equipment and machinery under Section 6C of the General Municipal Law. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Amenia by Resolution 109 of 2023 established a capital reserve fund known as the Highway Department Equipment and Machinery Reserve Fund and the amount of $60,000 for the purchase of capital equipment and machinery for the Town of Amenia Highway Department, such as pickup trucks, loaders, backhoes, sanders, dump trucks, and related equipment. Whereas Resolution 109 of 2023 further authorized that out of the surplus monies of the general fund, Highway DA permanent improvement chips 1.051124, 0.03, 0.035, 0051112.4, improvement CE, the sum of $60,000 would be appropriated for the Highway Department Equipment and Machinery Reserve Fund and authorize the town supervisor to transfer the surplus funds, which budget line, name, and number was named in the resolution incorrectly. And whereas the town board wishes to amend Resolution 109 of 2023 to reflect the correct budget line, name, and number to fund the Highway Department Equipment and Machinery Reserve Fund. Now therefore be it resolved, the recitations above are set forth are incorporated in this resolution as it fully set forth and adopted herein. 2, the Town Board of the Town of Amenia hereby amends Resolution 109, 2023 to reflect the surplus monies in the amount of $60,000 to fund the Highway Department Equipment and Machinery Reserve Fund to be transferred from 1.051124, 0.03, 0.035, 0.00 Improvement CE Capital Project. 3, all other terms and conditions of Resolution 109 of 2023 shall remain in full force and effect. And I make that motion.
I'll second that.
Supervisor Brody?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Repelard?
Yes.
And I don't believe we have any other matters. Town board comments?
I don't have any.
Well, then I'll make a comment.
Good for you.
The town of Amenia is sponsoring a free concert. It's a Celtic holiday concert by Dave Patton, Joseph Sobel, and friends at Amenia Town Hall Auditorium, Saturday, December 9th from 7 to 9. It's free admission, free refreshments. It's a holiday gift from the town of Amenia. So please come and enjoy some Celtic music for the holidays. Is there any other town board comments? No? Well, then I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Supervisor Brody?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Repelard?
Yes.